this is for me. It's not meant to be viewer friendly. We're not doing it trivia style. We have some fun graphics for the zoomers comparing Blissey and Chansey, and then we come up with something concise and wrap it with a neat little bow at the end. No. Generation 9 is ugly. This video is going to be ugly. I'm rambling between using Chansey and Blissey because I've used both in the past, and Blissey always comes out as just one of the filthiest, somehow sweeping Pokemon that I use in a generation. But again, now everything is ugly and weird, and maybe I'm leaving some optimization on the table by not. See, who even cares about editing unless there's like a minute of dead air for this one? But yeah, maybe I'm leaving something on the table, and Chansey is actually better because there is power creep, especially with the Paradox Pokemon, and there is some weird stuff to deal with. But now we need to get into the raw numbers. And I was actually surprised looking on the channel that I haven't really done a raw numbers comparison in either a long time or with a very specific goal. Like, I've kind of like maybe looked at damage calculations and be like, well, you take about this much more damage and you got this much more thing going on. But now it's actually about trying to figure out what works here. So, same idea. You need max hit points, you need max defense, you need defense curl, because that is actually the most busted thing on the Chansey. If Blissey or I'm just going to use them interchangeably. That's how little I care about making this presentable. If Blissey uses defense curl and does not die to physical Pokemon, it's immortal. That's the goal. Is just make it to where this thing does not have to leave the field. Instead of putting something useless like Thunder Wave, you run defense curl and now they can't keep up with you. Or if they have Dragon Dance or something, eventually you just tie with them. Even Swords Dance, like, there's chances where you can survive because you have so much hit points, because you are getting so much durability out of your defenses, that it just kind of gets crazy. So, why not always run Chansey if you have the Eviolite and you're just 50% tankier? And the numbers are nutty. 119 defense compared to 130? It's not even 10% tankier to evolve into Blissey. So why not just always run the Eviolite where you're getting 50% more out of it? And the hit point difference is nothing because base stats are weird. And this isn't like an understanding base stats video, but if you actually just like play around with tanky Pokemon, you'll understand how stats and EVs interact on a different level. Also just by following this channel, like, comment, subscribe, best Pokemon content creator, and also best Pokemon player. And that's how you unlock all the things I've unlocked since like Generation 4 and all of that other nonsense. Well, what about special defense? 105 into 135. A bit more significant, but since we're not investing, not really. We actually just come out ahead on special defense. And this is where things get weird, because traditionally the argument has been, well, leftovers on Chansey, or leftovers on Blissey versus Eviolite on Chansey effectively makes them the same Pokemon. But with Generation 9, my leftovers has been elsewhere. My Blissey in Generation 9 has been doing weird things like the covert cloak so I don't get wrecked by a Gargantuar, but then that wasn't happening enough. So now I've just been sticking on the Mirror Herb, and this has been effective. Like, it's really funny when a Golden Go uses Nasty Plot, I'm a +1 Calm Mind, and I just destroy it with a Flamethrower. Problem is, that doesn't matter because Golden Go was never a threat to me because I'm a Blissey. So the Mirror Herb was like, hopefully maybe I steal an Iron Defense and then I win the game off of that. Or I Calm Mind and now I'm just ahead. But there hasn't been enough defensive setup, so the Mirror Herb, while it's successful, it's not actually giving me any durability that would count in any kind of way. So yeah, like, we're effectively running Blissey without an item, which made me realize maybe Chansey has better behind it. Mental Herb might even be the play, but no one's running Taunt anymore. It's all Trick, Scarf, or... Actually, Encore is blocked by Mental Herb, so getting that extra Encore, having the ability to then get locked into something, that could actually be powerful. Maybe Mental Herb Blissey is the play, depending on the conclusion we draw about Chansey. And then all the other tank items, my Citrus Berries elsewhere on different setup Pokemon. Blissey, even though it can get a lot of mileage out of it, like, you just don't think about it as a Citrus Berrying Pokemon. And then some of the other stuff, like Quick Claw has other usage, but that's on my Dondozo now because that's also hilarious. And it's one of those things like Bright Powder, where I get a chance to happen that never activates because I tried Bright Powder Gargantuar when I was running my leftovers elsewhere, and that never worked. So, like, yeah, Blissey is just so good, it wins without an item. So why not just, like, have an item on a Pokemon? And then that brings us to why we haven't been running Chansey, or what always steers me away from the Chansey, the special attack. 106 uninvested versus 186 uninvested. Blissey does double damage on that, 75 special attack compared to 35 special attack. So if I'm trying to actually get into a Calm Mind sweeping position on the Chansey, and we get, like, defended against, it's just a resisted hit because we're pretty much only running Flamethrower since we need the soft boiled. It's the same moveset. I've done some things weird in the past, like Generation 8, where I ran like a utility Chansey that was like status and seismic toss and stuff, and then the offensive Blissey. I don't want to do that. I want to make carry Chansey or carry Blissey. So that's where it's like, okay, the numbers get kind of weird, and that's the difference between +6 Calm Mind and +2 Calm Mind to doing the same damage. However, Blissey, if it's not as tanky as the Chansey, it struggles more to set up. So where this might have a 3 or 4 Calm Mind because I'm able to set up safer, Blissey is having to throw out moves and then make a 3-hit KO off of the +2 Calm Mind. So if we're turning a 3-hit KO into a 4-hit KO with better tankiness or setup, that's fine. Even a 5-hit KO, because damage ranges are weird. So 5-hit KO on Flamethrower, I guess PP kind of matters, but not 24, versus 3 hitting, 2 hitting on weirder setup on the Blissey. I don't know. So that's what scared me off in the past, but then I realized something recently, and that's what started this video. So if you want to know why I'm going insane right now, it's because you don't beat Dondozo no matter what you're running on the Blissey. You don't beat Skeledirge no matter what you're running on the Blissey because of that unaware. Also, just other tanky Pokemon where it's like a Vaporeon comes in and calms mine. It doesn't matter. I guess the Flamethrower matchup kind of matters into like Volcarona a bit, but if we're tankier, then it doesn't matter. Eventually we all hit +6 and the game stalls out, even if we are Blissey. Unless like it's a Fiery Dance and we, like, the weird thing is we've never even stole like a Quiver Dance. Or maybe it's only happened once or twice with the Mirror Herb on the Blissey, and it doesn't really swing it that often. So yeah, maybe we steal Fiery Dance, we're up 1, it has to recover sooner because Blissey's too much tankier, so I'm actually able to get an extra bonus stat or something. So it's my +6 Blissey versus their +5 Volcarona, and it's still like a 4-hit KO, and whoever crits first wins. But if he crits, I think I might survive in some situations. So yeah, like, if Blissey loses, it's not because of damage or running out of PP on Flamethrower. Maybe to time, but until that happens, yeah. So what are the actual stats? Like, how does Eviolite warp this Pokemon, and where do the damage numbers come in? So Chansey versus Goldengo. Very, very common. We can also take a peek at what Goldengo is doing. Modest nature and timid about the same, so there's going to be some kind of damage stuff. Then the rest is like bulk weirdness. Running Covert Cloak because early on, we saw those Gargantasalt matchups get really weird and really ugly. So now Goldengo just doesn't want to get melted and once has a chance set up. Trick Scarf is a threat a third of the time. Trick with specs also about 40%. Air Balloon is a free win. Rocky Helmet's a free win. Weakness Policy doesn't matter. And then the rest of the stuff is whatever. So Goldengo's weird. We're mostly just kind of factoring on this. It's not even, yeah, it's not running any kind of weird things like a Metal Coat and leeching damage or something. So max hit points, max defense, Eviolite on the Chansey. We're taking 21 to 24%. Blissey, 24 to 29%. A not insignificant amount of damage where we see like the mid damage roll being 99 and then 81. So 18 less damage? Yeah, that's a leftovers. Okay. So I'm just like using its strongest move with the Make It Rain as well. So that's something to consider. I also want to see like, does the 4 special defense do anything, or should we speed creep? It's 3 damage. No, actually, it's 1. For some reason I was thinking 81, not 78. So yeah, it's literally 1 damage, even with the Eviolite, so we're not getting points here. I also want to see how it scales. So what if we go +3 on the special defense? That's down to 8.4. And then we go +3, that's down to 9.9. So yeah, it kind of does the same thing. It's mostly like, once you get Calm Minds, no special attacker can do anything, and even crits don't matter in a lot of situations, unless it's like +6/+6 on Goldengo or something, and it crits to Make It Rain. We shouldn't be in that position anyways, because it's not getting defense, and you're still flamethrowing and stuff. So yeah, and then with our special attack uninvested, +3, we hit +3, we 2-shot Goldengo. It's not doing anything. It can't do anything. Alrighty then. What about some other stuff? Yeah, like the speed creep. I don't know what that 50 speed tier looks like, and instead of cutting or doing whatever, we can just do it live. So we don't have like common threats that actually make any sense. So it's like we're speed creeping other Chanseys, which doesn't exist in this game. Donphan. Iron Hands. That might be a problem. But it's mostly going to be Draining Punch. Also King Gambit. Never mind. For some reason, I skipped over that. I started at Muck. So speed creeping King Gambit actually matters. Now, when I care about speed creep, I do 20 EVs. And we can see what that looks like. So we'll knock, you know, some stats around. We go level 50. We speed creep to 20 because it's just like nothing. And then that brings us 355 compared to 357. I don't think it's going to be made or broken by 2 hit points. So I think we actually do that. And then we're fine. And then, what's that actual number? Is it capped at 236? Okay, just want to make sure. We got 236. Boom. And then we look something like that. We go speed. We put like 2 vitamins in speed, max defense, rest in hit points. Easy. All right. So it looks like that. Damage numbers do not change, except on the high end, which math. And yeah, so actually we're not really losing anything to get some speed creep into an important speed tier. Now, what about... Also want to keep this here just because... Was it 36? Okay, 36. Now, what about Blissey? If we go to 36, kind of same idea, or maybe we just kind of count that 5 speed as free points. Yeah, it looks like that. And then our damage is going to be weird because that's 35% minimum instead of 20%. So it's not quite doubling. It's more like 75%. And yeah, if you just look at this, you know, the comparison between 125, or not 125. Now it's level 50 and everything's scuffed. Let's do this really quick. So the comparison between 95 special attack, 55 special attack, not quite doubled. And then damage calculations at lower levels also get weird. So the way that this like scales and interacts means it's closer to 75%. So still bad, but then you're kind of looking at this like, oh, it's not that this becomes a 2-hit KO on the Blissey. It's still a 3-hit KO versus a 5-hit KO, which are the numbers I was talking about. But then if we get +3 versus +3, that's a 2-hit KO. That's a 2-hit KO. Oh, it's just the same, huh? Chansey looks strong, but what about physical? Because that's where it matters. So Baxcalibur is a Pokemon to take a look at. We've got the ideas right here. So now the game's fraudulent. We know this. 3% choice band, 8% life orbs. Like 1 in 10 are actually trying to boost their damage. Loaded dice is effectively DPS increase, but not on everything. So we have to take heavy consideration for loaded dice. But if it's Focus Sash, that does nothing. Assault Vest, we just want to survive. He can't recover. We can. And then Choice Scarf, Never Melt Ice, Lefters. So it's very weird, but they are pretty much all running Adamant. Ooh, I forgot about Thermal Exchange interaction. That might be a bit more ugly and kind of matter. It's weird that we've like bodied Baxcaliburs with the Chansey Blissey though. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. So cut it down to 50. We do this, and Glaive Rush is an ouchie. Icicle Crash. Let's actually move this into Icicle Sphere. And then we have hitting 4 times because actually we can put up both. And then we can have the 4 and the 5 kind of comparison. So this is a heavy Pokemon, especially max attack, adamant nature. The loaded dice means, you know, we're seeing the higher end on the Icicle Spears. Glaive Rush versus Flamethrower. But I think what this means is like we have the weirdest numbers. So 60%, means we have 40% remaining, +1. So if it's Adamant, Glaive Rush, Blissey doesn't get it. But that's why we play the Blissey different. We start these matchups with a +1 because they bring in a special attacker. Special attacker is no threat. We don't have to call mind into the special attacker. We go defense curl on their switch even, or maybe they like waste a move and then we're up 2 defense curls. So most of the matchups starting off like this, +1, and then it's like 40 something %, and then we get the +2, and now we're safe to recover through it. The numbers not great on the flamethrower. Glaive Rush doubles it. So that means our break point into Glaive Rushing is +5 to be safe. And then we can't burn it, which is why we run Serene Grace. Serene Grace kind of being the development, because there's the reason why like Blissey is working is because there's no toxic, and there's nothing that has access to toxic actually using it, and there's no heavy status shenanigans that actually disrupt the Blissey enough. So you're allowed to get the free Serene Grace and then 20% chance to burn. Pretty nasty on the Blissey. So yeah, and then gaining the attack right there kind of does some weird things. Like let's say we're at +4 from our defense curls, and then he gets into a +1. That's offsetting it to a degree, but we can like throw 2 flamethrowers and win. Maybe even at +4, which actually even at +3 because of Glaive Rush. I don't know, because now things get ugly with this matchup, but we haven't really seen too many Glaive Rushing, and the Icicle Spear damage is also really weird because the 5 hits is more, so let's kind of just reset all this stuff back to neutral to see how bad it looks. Yeah, like that's just bad on the 5 with the loaded dice, but then it kind of averages out under the Glaive Rush because if it's like, oh, we hit 2 4s and a 5, that's good. That's just RNG. And then stuff happens. People are going to say Earthquake, like, yeah, they all go Earthquake. It doesn't make sense. And then they also go Terra Ground. And the Earthquake damage is like, we just survived the Earthquake, like 55%. We're at 45%. And then we get the defense curl, and then we can heal, and now we're just winning against Earthquake forever, and for Icicle Spear. And also, it's a lot of Assault Vest, which I guess Assault Vest makes this weird, but then the Icicle Spear is doing less damage. Maybe it's Jolly Glaive Rush then. So it's one of those things where it's like, Blissey is never supposed to survive this, and we're trying to figure out ways to survive this, and we still kind of can. And even then, like, Assault Vest Glaive Rush means, like, we can work into a 2-shot on Flamethrower and be tanky enough to where it doesn't matter. And crits just cost us the game anyways. Now, what about Chansey? Baxcalibur. All the movesets from Smogon are stupid and wrong. Go Adamant Nature. Heavy Duty Boots is the dumbest thing possible. And then drop that down to level 50. And now, that's a stupid amount of increase on the defense. And that also means we're getting a stupid amount of benefit from the +1 on that defense curl. So this is why I was like thinking about the Chansey. Now our Flamethrower is a lot worse. So somehow we have to like +6 defense, +6 special attack without getting crit, and then we still have to hit it twice. But it's like we have a free +1 because of that Eviolite. And we also scale really well as well. So Adamant, Icicle Spear. We'll just make this 5 hits to show kind of bad case scenario stuff. And it's one of those things where it's like, is Chansey or is Blissey supposed to like ever survive these in any situation ever? No. Glaive Rush comes in, doesn't do half. Alright, we have something going on here. Baxcalibur is actually getting a lot of use. And there is like this weird angle where Baxcalibur gets too much use. Then we just run Wormbliss. And then, like, we actually don't have to worry about Blissey, but Blissey also doesn't mean the game is over. Like, let's say Baxcalibur's at a 1/3, and we lost our Earthworm to something, Blissey still cleans up the game. So that's also a really good position to have. Defense Blissey next to a Scarm stand-in Pokemon, because even if your physical Pokemon goes down to some kind of shenanigans, Blissey still wins against the physical attacker. You just need it softened up a bit. So that's a thing, and it's mostly just kind of comparing, and we'll just look at mostly the Glaive Rush. So Glaive Rush at +0, That's a big ouchie at that 65% average. But if we get the +1, we live in. Wait, that's +2. Get the +1, we live in. And then we're just starting off here on Chansey. And if we get that +1, it's good. And we're also taking less special attack damage as well. So that Calm Mind is comfier as well. Like, this is the conclusion I thought would exist. Because the defense is so good and the matchups damage don't really matter too much. And then it's a 3-hit KO. And then we survive, defense curl, survive, defense curl. Crit kind of just ruins us anyways. And then we soft-boiled. And I think we have that. So yeah, like, just need to walk this one through. Just make sure I don't screw it up. Let's say we take 50%. So we're sitting at 50, but we get defense curl. Boom. Now, the next time he hits us, we take 35. Let's just do ugly numbers. 85. So we're at 15%. Then we heal to 65%. Next one we take is going to drop us to 30%, which actually gives us the defense curl range. We take 30%. Now we're at 5%. And then we end the turn at 55%. Take another one. That's going to drop us to 30%. Now we're at 80%. We've used 3 of our soft-boileds. So we used 3 of our 8 soft-boileds to be at +2, 80%. And now, this is where it's like, we take 25. That drops us down to 55%. Yeah, we're at 80, and then go down 25 plus 3. And then we take 20 plus 4. So that means we're at 30%. We take 17, we heal. So now we're at 4 soft boileds left, plus 4 defense. Maybe we go for the +5, but at that point, we're only like knocking off very little damage. So like, look at this. +4, I want to make sure everything's right here. +4, Bax Caliber, hitting us with Glaive Rush, Adamant Nature is doing 57. So yeah, I actually had the Flamethrower highlight, which was like 20 damage. That doesn't sound right. Yeah, it wasn't. 57. So we're taking 57 from a Glaive Rush at +4. At +5, we're taking 51. So maybe we just get to +4 because that's like the comfy range. And now we can like recover to full, probably on 1 or 2 more, which means we only have like 2 soft boiled left, which is bad. But now it's a 6-hit KO. So then we can like +3. Now we even get more than that, like +4 recover. It's a lot of turns. Like, we're definitely getting crit and losing before this in like the worst case scenario. Recover, we have 1 more left. And then +6 damage on the Flamethrower with Chansey is definitely not ideal, but then Glaive Rush is doubling this. I don't know how we can factor in a doubling. Yeah, I don't see like a Glaive Rush tick. We actually have the Terra Fire, which is something I forgot to factor into this as well. So we go Terra Fire, and now it's 2-hit KO. So actually, at +5, we just go for the 1-shot. And if he's any lower, yeah. So then we end up in this potentially really weird scenario where we have Eviolite Chansey at like 60% health, no soft boileds left. Does Glaive Rush actually have PP? Because like, we're taking so many Glaive Rush, it's actually over by that point. Like, if it's an 8 PP move, I think he runs out of Glaive Rush. But there's also been, oh yeah, it is 5, sick. So we're going into the ultra worst. He runs out of Glaive Rush before there's a chance to get crit. Good. There's been a weird thing where there's like some signature moves that have 10, and that they're like way overtuned signature moves that should not have 10. So actually, we're fine on PP, and then we just hard win. So maybe we're in this weird situation where we have a +5, +5 Chansey. +4, +5, because we want that 4. Maybe 4 is just like the ultimate break point to preserve soft boileds and then get damage out there. So we hit this really weird scenario where we have 1 soft boiled, 60 health. So let's just say we're at 100% health, no soft boileds, and then this is our Pokemon for the rest of the game, where we're 2-shotting things, and then other weirdness happens. Let's look at some other Pokemon then. Like, now we're out of recovers. We have the unkillable Chansey. What happens now? So, Specs, Timid, Iron Bundle does 14%. It's a 6-hit KO. So we're alive for 6 turns and we're 2-shotting it. Alright. And then, since we're doing Battle Stadium, like, if this was outside of Battle Stadium, we have a lot of other team options, and then we can, like, run regenerators and stuff to kind of fill in damage, and then physical Pokemon can be even less of a threat. But until we get to that point, or, like, since we're only playing Battle Stadium, we just need to survive the first onslaught with all 8 of our soft-boileds, and then if we're, like, the theoretical +6, +6, 80% health, 0 soft-boileds left, we just press Flamethrower until we win, especially on that Terra Fire. So even, like, Specs, high special attack, special attacker, it's not like it cheeses us and finds something through it. What about Hydreigon? Hydreigon's weird. Draco Meteor, that's an ouchie. But he only gets to do it like that once. So we're at 80%. We get cut down to 50. But now... Wait, what do you mean twice? What do you mean... Why is it going up? The damage shouldn't go up. Am I dumb? Oh, wait a second. That's level 100. Oh, no. But even then, twice. Oh, that's interesting. So it factors 2 Draco Meteor. Never mind, I'm stupid. Not the already -2 then damage calc. So after, or over 2 turns. So by the time he's hit me twice with Draco Meteor, he has done a grand total of 12 damage on my 80% no soft boiled. And we are 4-hit KOing him on Flamethrower. That's Life Orb, so he's actually burning himself a bit. Even if we go Choice Specs... I'm scrolling for the Choice Specs. Boom. And then he uses it 4 times. Wow. Not a KO. Thanks for the insight. As we're sitting at 40% health because we take 2 Hydro Pumps from an Iron Bundle. And then he Draco Meteors me 4 times and we win. So yeah, it's... If Chansey can sit in, not get taunted, not get whirlwinded, not get hazed, not get clear smogged, not get encored, not get choice tricked, and then we use all 6 on the Chansey, which seems feasible, to just... If it gets something like Max Caliber, which is overtuned, high stat, 145 attack nonsense Pokemon, using high base power moves, there's a chance. And that's kind of neat. Now, what about some other Pokemon we can set up into? Scizor Choice Band. Really liking that close combat. That's an ouchie. Oh my goodness. Oh wait, never mind. It keeps doing level 100. Still an ouchie. So now here's another thing. Like, we've seen the Choice Band close combat Scizor matchups go weird. We won one, and then we lost one because I did not respect the damage scenario enough. I'm like, oh, I won the last one. And then I got clapped. So Chansey doesn't just come in on a Choice Band Scizor with close combat. So I'm going to Terra Fire. And now it's the same numbers as Max Caliber. So, and then he's also making himself much weaker. And the Serene Grace, like, or not Serene Grace, I'm just saying numbers here. The special attack doesn't matter because Flamethrower is a 4x on Terra Fire. So we need to preserve Terra, but I think our Terras were burned in all those games because of, like, King Gambit, which is the GOAT. And maybe we did something else Terra weirdness, or we just didn't respect Terra Fire into Scizor for some reason. So we do that, and then we +1, and we're kind of winning, but also he's going to be -1 from the close combat. So there's, like, some weird stuff where Eviolite Chansey is so tanky, we go Terra Fire, we absorb a close combat. So again, now we're just doing the math again. We're at 45, or we're at 55. Boom. We're at 25 because we take like 30, and then we recover. So now we're at 75 +1, 7 soft boileds. And then we take another 30, so we're at 45. Boom. This gets kind of sketchy. I'd probably just recover here. Also, we're going to be... Like, we're using up those soft boileds anyways, so not getting greedy is kind of alright. So, we're at +2. We're at 95, because 45 soft-boiled. And then we eat the 25 down to 70. 70. He's at -3. So we can just remove this threat. We can just say, alright, we're at 70. We don't want to deal with the Scizor anymore. We actually can defense curl here to go health positive and then be ready for any other physical threat, maybe. We could also soft-boiled, have 5 soft-boiled left. I don't think we need to Calm Mind, though. It's not like a special attacking threat comes in and matters, unless it is a taunter. Like, if we have a +1, because we set up against a Scizor somehow, using banded close combat on us, and then they, like, bring in Encore or Taunt, and we're at least +1 Terra, like, we can survive something. But whatever, like, we do this, we KO them, we're at 60%. So maybe, actually, yeah, we could set up a +1/+1 here, recover to 90, drop down to, like, 70, KO it, and now we're 4 soft-boiled or 5 soft-boileds, and then we look like this. And then their Baxcalibur comes in, and then it's going like this. I think Chansey's the GOAT. I think Chansey's the play here. Like, because again, like I said, in different metas, because if you're going this into a Dynamax Pokemon, you lose the game. If you're going this into a different kind of meta, that special attack is just too low. But Terra gives us that survivability into super effective hits. Because then, like, we Terra Fire, Defense Curl, eat an Earthquake. It doesn't matter anymore. So, that's kind of the thing. And, yeah, it could also be the weird into Baxcalibur, where it's still going to have the Earthquake. So, we eat Icicle Spears, and then when we need to, like, heal, then we can go, like, we have max health, then we go Terra Fire, Defense Curl, absorb the Earthquakes, and then, like, win or something. Yeah, or we just go Terra Fire for, like, the one-hit KO turn after a Glaive Rush or something. So, as long as we don't go, like, stab Earthquake super effective hits at +3 or less Defense Curl, Chansey's probably still fine. But like I said, we just did not have enough damage for Calm Mind Chansey to be viable in Generation 8, because the opponents got too much health with Dynamax, too many free stats with Dynamax, and we didn't have 50% bonus damage. But now the matchups are just fine, and we lose these Pokemon anyways, so we just play around that. GG easy. So there we go, guys. That was my ramble. The conclusion was, like, I was just like, Chansey always has to be better, right? And I don't think the special attack matters. That was me going into this video. And then we, like, hard confirmed it to where, like, oh, Eviolite Chansey just beats everything with Defense Curl. Even, like, some of the most outrageous physical attackers. There's still some situations where it's like, yeah, I want to still have that +1, but we are just tankier. And in a world where my Blissey is just out of position without the proper item, even with leftovers, Chansey is better because you set up into physical better. We win. Yeah, that's got to be it, right? Chansey time.